Soil sampling in its conventional format works mainly through wetcam labs, and more specifically, producers normally go out in the field, collect soil, put it in normal bags and send it to their preferred labs, where some lab analysis will be done. Different standards exist within a lab and between regions. Western Canada, for example, we're used to see MEDIC 3, but also Olsen, Bray. In other parts of the US, it could differ as well, saturated paste. And those standards has been developed over time. They have and they have all of their own typical results. And it's basically how it's been done for the last 50 years. Well, of course, that method has proven some results. It's been the most common way to measure nutrients present in the soil. And we are also using those standards through the use of our technology that I will explain more explicitly a bit later. But those methods so far has been proven the right way to measure soil nutrients. The biggest difference that you're going to see using our technology, using a ChrysaLabs Probe, is mainly the time that it's going to take to generate results. So I didn't say it, but through traditional methods explained before, working with traditional labs, general result response will be within between 1 week, sometimes 24 hours, up to 3 to 4 months, depending on the soil analysis. Using our technology is basically providing the same results that you would get from the lab. So mainly the standards that I explained before, but the results will be obtained within 30 seconds. So we've designed an optical sensor, which provides instant soil analysis. It's a probe that you will insert in the soil, and by pressing one button, you will generate your own soil analysis and receive results within 30 seconds directly to your phone and your computer. Our market segments have mainly been agronomists within organizations such as retailers, co-ops, corporate farms, independent agronomist organizations, and agronomic organizations. We've also worked a lot with innovative producers, I would say. You always have producers that are trying to stay ahead of the curve and be able to generate more data than their neighbors. So we've been working a lot with producers as well. Of course, the one thing that needs to be accounted for is the need to understand the data that we generate. So some producers are more knowledgeable of soil data so that they can take decisions on their own. Or we also work with other producers that will use the technology and provide the data to their agronomists to have some kind of support taking decisions on the data that they will generate. Yes, so the technology is composed of 3 technologies, mainly from spectroscopy and capacitance, and they all perform the same analysis that a lab would do. And before, because it's using very similar or the same technologies that are used within a lab, it generates the same kind of analysis. So it is able to provide macronutrients, soil properties, pH buffer, even soil organic carbon. So it's basically using the main technology, I would say, is spectroscopy. So it's analyzing the light spectrum. Each nutrient has a light signature and will provide insight to our artificial intelligence models. So using our models, we can analyze each of those light spectrums associated with a nutrient signature, and depending on the wavelength received, we will be able to tell the nutrient type and also the level. We look at macronutrients, micronutrients, and other soil parameters. Macronutrients, we're talking about N, P, K, calcium, magnesium. And micronutrient goes from aluminum, boron, copper, iron, and so on until the zinc. And other parameters, we're talking about soil pH, buffer pH, organic matter, CEC, total organic carbon, bulk density. And we look at different extraction methods. So varying options, including Melic-3, Olsen, Bray, P1, ammonium acetate, DTPA, and hot water. It's basically the spectroscopy is mainly looking at lights, at the light spectrum. So our database is just any kind of information that the sensors are going to generate when it is plunged into the soil. Then this database will be referred to lab results that are going to be used to train our models. And every time a new user will plunge the device into the soil, the light spectrums will be analyzed and associated with our database. It performs well on mainly all type of cells you will find in Canada and the US, mainly because we've been using the probe in more than 30 states and 6 Canadian provinces. There are some kind of exceptions, I would say, mostly one, which are the black soil that we have here sometimes in Quebec. So when the soil is black, it becomes more of a calibration process, additional calibration process that we have to take into account. Basically, is the calibration process is named model training. When we every time we have a new customer, he will receive the model training kit that we call is mainly between 25 and 50 prepaid bag of soil analysis that the customer will have to use along with the probe to make the proper calibration. So there is a specific protocol that is taught to each customer, which is basically taking a soil core and inserting the probe at the exact same location. And the customer then has to identify the soil bag with the analysis, the generated analysis, and then associating the two results and including them into our database will help us train our model in the long run. We really like the format of all unlimited amount of data, just because we are an extra data set that the producer can use to better take decisions in the field. Same for agronomists. And we truly believe that with more data, more insightful decisions can be made. So it doesn't make sense for us to put a price per sample. We don't believe that having only one soil sample is probably following is the steadiest methodology. We like to think that the more data you can generate, the highest density you can have information on, the more insights you can have to take your decisions. So we prefer to let our customers do as many to generate as many data that they can. We are present in more than 30 states at the moment and 6 Canadian provinces. We have over 200 customers at the moment. And we are working also with some organizations around the carbon market. And we've just raised a very nice Series A a few weeks ago that will give us a lot more resources still to keep developing our technology and serve more customers in North America. We have never claimed at ChrysaLabs that we would replace laboratories. We are aware that it is an extensive experience that they hold, and the market has been designed around those very strong partners. However, we have to come to the realization that there is currently more demand than offer towards having effective soil analysis done in a timely manner. And ChrysaLabs is really the partner that anyone is looking for to get instant soil analysis. And we can think about precision agriculture, people looking at grading their fields, having more precise information on their soil at a higher density. They might have machineries that can better apply fertilizers in a real time. So we really appear to be one of a kind partner that can supply instant soil analysis. When otherwise you would have to wait a few weeks and months before getting your results. We also appear a very strong partner for people looking at generating more data, not only about nutrients, but also in a more holistic manner, looking at soil health. So we provide important soil data that can help farmers understand if their soil is healthy or not in a very, very fast manner prior to seeding or at the end of a season. And finally, you currently have a lot of people looking at carbon data that have to wait for months. We were discussing with people right now that need to wait up to 3 to 4 months before receiving carbon data. So we are working on a lot of projects that depend on carbon quantification that needs a very fast and accurate technology like ours to take decisions and sell carbon credits. Well, we are currently calculating total organic carbon, and the technique is the same as previously explained using spectroscopy, and it's a very, very accurate way to calculate total organic carbon. Accuracy it can be analyzed through different lenses, but we can discuss two. The first one would be how accurate a lab is within himself. So how can it be accurate predicting or calculating soil nutrients for the same homogenized soil? And the second lens would be looking at accuracy within different labs. And we've done multiple analyses on our own because you can imagine that to get our technology calibrated, we had to rely on traditional lab analysis. And we've determined that accuracy within labs wasn't accurate enough for us to work with different labs to get our technology accurate, just because we've seen an average swing between results of on average of 50% with all nutrients included. And if people are curious about those experiments, we really encourage them to discuss with us. It's going to be a pleasure to share those results. And so then we had to rely on one laboratory to get to work out our technology. So doing the same analysis of accuracy for one lab, we've came to the conclusion that there was a very still quite big swing between results we would get for the same soil sent to the same lab. Depending on the lab, on average, it would be between 20 and 30%. So that was quite shocking for us. So then every time we get into this conversation of accuracy, we have to take into account that the current market is working on a certain inaccuracy, if we can say, and we want to be as good as a lab can be. So basically, we always try to be as accurate as a lab, and how we can have this conversation with each of our customers is by really having the customer doing the model training that we just explained earlier. So using the 25 to 50 calibration bags that we would be sending to the customer would be sending it to a lab. With each customer, we would look at all the results and make the statistical analysis of how accurate we were, and also looking at the correlation between our results and the one from the lab. And this is when we can really understand where we stand from the lab, but we always position ourselves to be as accurate. And in the case that we aren't, we have some methods that we can use to improve the results with the customer, either doing more model training with the customer. That is, for example, been a very, very good way to improve results. There are a lot of technological companies present out there right now, and I would say that there is a lot of energy and momentum around using new technologies. I would say that we are definitely one partner that invests a lot in each of our customers to build the trust. That, just like you said, accuracy always come up in the mind. First thing that we think about using a technology that can replace a long-standing traditional method is our main probably the biggest topic of conversation. We are very, very much investing in each of those relationships, making sure that the producer understand how the data is generated, how it compares to the way that they were generating the data prior to working with us. And we have multiple touch points with each of our customers to ensure that they are happy using our technology. And every time we feel that this level of happiness isn't reached, we still always find solutions to facilitate the integration of the technology in their operations. So every time that the customer comes to us, we sit down and think about any clear objectives that the grower wants to achieve using our technology, and we always make sure to try to achieve those objectives.